give us a break. So picture this, Nashville, Tennessee, August, let's say it's 93 degrees outside and 94% humidity, you know, and working straight through, let's say 10 hours of that, you one funky dude. I'm going to tell you, you don't look good, you don't feel good, and I promise you, you do not smell good. Okay, now I mentioned some acts that maybe you hadn't heard of that I worked with, but there's one gentleman I work with you all know, and that's James Taylor. And what a lot of people don't know is James is one of the first acts we signed at Apple Records. And so here James and I, we're in London, and I'm the hot shot from LA with the Carnaby Street suits, and we're on top of the world, and then when things fell apart, that's when I went to MGM, and he and Peter Asher, Peter and Gordon, Peter was his producer, was the head of A&R at Apple, they went to Warner Brothers. So now we're in LA, and we are the Beatle guys, and Ringo basically had kind of moved there in Georgia, spending a lot of time, and so Harry Nilsson and a few people, just this little clique of guys, and we were just invincible. We're on top of the world. I'm hanging in the studio with James while he's cutting little records like Fire and Rain, and You've Got a Friend, and I've got a little band over at MGM like Eric Burden and War. I mean, it was just on top of the world. I actually got to work with James a third time, and he was headlining at the Starwood Amphitheater. And it was my job to walk up to James during his sound check and say, Mr. Taylor, where would you like me to place your amps for tonight's concert? And I had like a 5-foot smell radius, and I was dripping sweat and funky and dirty and grimy. And James, he's looking at me, and it's just like, he wasn't quite registering, you know. And then finally when he zeroed in, something had happened to me. I could just see the pain in his eyes, you know. But this was my downtime. This was during my bottom. And this is when I became a Christian. And there was something that God started working on me right away. Not only how many times your pastor stood up on this platform and talked about something that God does not like, and that's a thing called pride. And I had a boatload, and he really got after me from the get-go. But I'll tell you, when he really got my soup and moved my noodles around, and that was the night of the Whitney Houston concert.